Okay, let's hope it works.
Let's hope it
Yeah,
works.
let's
All
hope it
around.
works. So thank you so much for joining, everyone. Today we are here to discuss about a tool known as UiPath Task Capture, which is a part of amazing UiPath tool suite that allows you to actually capture the requirements and creates a great documentation for you, which can be used by different people and can also be uploaded in different, you can say, products of UiPath, such as Automation Hub, Test Manager, this particular thing can actually ease out your documentation journey. So let's talk about who are the speakers of the day. So today we have me. I along with Dennis will be talking about this particular tool. We will be giving you overview of this particular tool, in what scenarios you should be using it, in what scenarios you should be avoiding it, and we will be giving you two demos of two key features of this particular tool. So what's the agenda for the day? First of all, we will be introducing task capture. How we will be showing you how to set up the task capture on your machine, a demo of task capture with the help of recording, and a demo of task capture by building a process from the scratch. So this could be a scenario where you don't have access to the applications that you need to automate, but somehow you have access to screenshots with the help of video or with the help of some other documentation. And all you want to do is you just want to create a PDD. So this actually helps with that as well. Finally, we will be generating and sharing a couple of process documentations, and we will be also showing you how you can actually extract the template to be utilized as a standardized document throughout your organization. And then we will be having a Q&A session. Okay. So with that, let's introduce task capture. So task capture is a tool that allows, or that you can say enhances the uh, process discovery, or you can say that it helps in the process discovery mechanism of a particular organization, and it can be used by business users, center of excellence leaders, and even RPA developers. So many times we have observed that in a given organization we have multiple teams, and each team does a particular job differently. So maybe a particular team could be having a very well set up, you can say, center of excellence, and here the this particular task capture tool can play a very critical role. So within a center of excellence, on a daily basis you are receiving multiple requests, and probably you have to judge which request to actually process or which process to actually automate, and which process you should probably not be automating. But you can only judge once you have a proper documentation for it. And and if we have BAs on this call, you are aware that documentation probably takes more time than automation. So this particular thing can actually resolve your this particular tool can actually resolve your day-to-day burden and day-to-day task that you do, and can actually help in accelerating your document creation process. And talking about the other phase of the particular team, where a single RPA developer might be handling a lot of stuff, and he might also get burdened by the document creation process. So many times, and so speaking from personal experience, we are asked to create documentation for PDD, SDD, and a couple of other things. So even though we love creation of documents, but we also have a couple of things that we might spend time more on. So we can also use this particular thing. Apart from that, if your team is already having tools such as task mining, process mining, and automation hub, task capture integrates beautifully with all of these. Okay, so what happens is that if you're having, let's say, automation hub, it is a purely automation tracking suite that allows you to go ahead and keep a track of all the automations, as well as keep a track and as well as identify the new automations that you can possibly take upon. Now, once you have all this, once you have such a great tool with you, you adding task capture into it enhances it to a next level. Why? Because now you don't only have an idea of what automation you can do, you also have an idea, or you can also accept different kinds of documentation from different people for a better understanding of what within that process, what could be the exception, what are the process to be followed, and what are the permissions that we need for the automation to happen. Okay, so now it's no longer a guesswork. We are putting in intelligence in all automation. And that is our end goal. Now, who can use this task capture tool? So as discussed earlier as well, business users, subject matter experts, center of excellence members, and RPA developers. All of these can use task capture tool, and all of this particular tool is one tool that can actually help everyone. Then what are the key features of task capture? So task capture, it can actually capture each and every single process, each and every single detail of your process. And when I say each and every single detail, I actually mean it. And we will be showing that. So if you are in record method, you can actually capture all the shortcuts that you're using, all the small things that you're using, from clicks to tab to anything like that. Everything can be captured with the help of task capture. You can actually create process flowcharts, which are also known as process maps. You can actually edit them and add business rules, add variations very easily, and you can easily update these to create a new version of documentation just with the help of single click. You can obviously you have an option of adding screenshots, but what is better, you don't need to actually have another image editor. What you need is you can use the built-in image editor to actually, if you want to highlight something, if you want to blur some critical information, everything is built in. Apart from that, you can also utilize OCR technology in order to go ahead and extract some tools extract some text out of the screen that you have just captured, which is also a very great thing. Let's say you want to actually add that text in the description, or in the in the description of this particular thing, in the of a particular step. So you can actually copy the text from the image and simply paste it in the description without actually going back to the application and then copying it. Finally, you can also export and share the process definition document, and you can even go to the next level and export it as a or proper process that can be opened up in UiPath Studio. So not only now you are having a documentation, if it's a simple process, you can export it. Not only in simple, even in complicated process, you can export it, and you have a skeleton of the task that needs to be automated. So this actually reduces you can say the automation time drastically, because now since we have the skeleton ready, we can go ahead and make changes in that skeleton to at least create a POC to check if the process is capable for automation or not, which is a big deal. Now, here I will ask my friend Dennis to take ahead and talk about this topic.
All right, thank you, Smith. Please, can I be heard?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you, thank you. So basically, after you have successfully installed Task Capture, you realize that you will be greeted with two options of using the tool, and you have to decide on which one to use. There are two. The first one is using the build diagram, and the second one is for you to capture the process. So the build diagram feature allows you to put the building blocks, like drag and drop one by one on your own by yourself. This is actually suitable when you know the structure of the process very well, or even the process owner that is giving the process is able to scribble something down for you. Then you are able to use the build diagram. And the process is also complex with a lot of branching and decisions that needs to be taken along the way. Building a diagram is suitable. So you first build the diagram, then you capture the process in detail. We will see this in practice. The second option is where you just go ahead and capture the process straight up. It is suitable for sequence that are straightforward, very well known, not too complex. It does not involve a lot of decision making or branching. Capture process is suitable for that. So for linear processes and simple processes, it is suitable. It automatically captures all the actions to build a workflow diagram to describe the process. Yeah, Ishmael, you can move on. Okay, so I'll leave Ishmael to take you through how to register, how to download, and how to install Task Capture. So Ishmael, if you are listening, please, we are with you.
Perfect. Dennis, do you think that we can go ahead with the first questionnaire?
Oh, very well, very well. So
Okay.
it's a very simple questionnaire.
So guys, we will be sharing a Menti link with you. You can participate in this quiz, and that will actually help us a lot in order to gather some data. And once you receive that link, all you have to do is you just need to select a couple of options. Okay. And Dennis, you can probably share your screen and we can, go ahead with the questionnaire.
Okay, a moment, please. I will just share my screen right now. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible, your screen.
Yes.
You should, so everyone, you should go to menti.com. I'm just giving you the link in chat, and then you should place in this code. It's very easy to go from mobile. So once you go on that link, www.menti.com, you just place in this digit code 68541952 to get into the quiz room. And once you enter the quiz room, you can participate in the quiz and get a chance to win UiPath prizes. So we're waiting to see who goes into the quiz room. Just go to www.menti.com. It's very easy, and then paste in that digit code. You have it in chat, so you can take it directly from there. Nobody wants to participate in our quiz?
Hey, Christina,
Okay,
hi.
it is not quiz is not open. Please wait to presenter to activate it.
Yep,
Oh.
yep, that's what I'm also getting.
Let me try that.
Okay, good. Okay, let's wait a few more seconds to see if anyone else wants to join the quiz room. It's very easy, guys. Just go to the chat, copy paste the link and the digit code from there.
I'm in.
Okay, so we'll not spend much time on this. This is actually just a teaser. The main quiz is also requirement. We'll use it to the ground by ourselves. So the question is simple. What process capture tools do you know?
Okay, you have 30
Or
seconds
idea?
to answer. But remember, you must also answer fast to get maximum points in Menti. So what process capture tools do you know? But what are the answer options?
So this actually is the main quiz for the prizes. This is just to guide us.
Ah, this is exploratory. Yeah, nice.
Okay, task capture.
So perhaps you can expand on this, Akbego.
Yeah, I
Yes,
can see
please.
a lot of people have heard about, or at least have utilized task capture. So that's very good to know.
Selenium CR VCO. Yeah, VCO is a popular one.
What is the right answer in that case?
All right. Thank you very much. Ishmael, I think you can take over now and show us how to download, how to store, and how to set up task capture.
Perfect. So I'm just sharing my screen. And thank you so much for participating, guys. We will be having another quiz for you very soon. Okay. So let's get started with how to register and download and install, obviously, task capture. So In order to do that, like the task is very simple. All you need to do is you just need to go to this particular link, and probably we will be sharing this particular link in the chat as well. Fill the form, and then you will be receiving the download link in your email. Once you do that, just hit on that, select 64 or 32-bit. Most of us will be selecting 64 only, and then simply hit on download the MSI application. You can install it right away, and once you install it, you will be seeing something like this. But in order to just show you how this particular thing works, so this is the link that I was talking about. Again, we will be sending this particular link in chat very soon. You can go here, down, fill in all the details, and do, keep in mind to add your business information. If you add your personal email ID, unfortunately you won't be probably you won't be receiving the mail. So add your business email ID, and fill in all the details, and on that email ID you will be receiving the download information. Once you do that, you will be having an exe file available, available with you, that can be easily utilized to install the task capture in such a way. So once you have this particular thing, installed and ready, you can say ready for you, then what you can do. So then essentially you can simply go ahead, and let me go to home here, because I was just going to practice something. So that's why that screen was open. But once you open a new task capture window, this is what you are going to see. Start your documentation process, open from PC. A couple of other things you are also going to see from here. But as a if you are just trying to learn this particular thing, don't worry about anything else. Just hit on new document. As soon as you hit on new document, you will be seeing a couple of things here. The first thing that you will be seeing, that you get two options: build and capture. What is the difference in between them? Build means that you are manually going to build a you can say flow chart or a process diagram that will allow the task capture to analyze it. That will be analyzed by the task capture, and then it will create a documentation for you. Capture process is a little bit more advanced option, and we will be having a demo for both. But within capture process, you can actually capture each and every step that you are performing in order for creation of an accurate document. Okay.
I'm so sorry, I lost you. You said for
Hello.
Think someone just unmuted unknowingly, so you can continue.
Perfect.
Right, if
Thank
you
you
have
for
questions, and type the questions, please.
Yeah, guys, if for now, if you have any questions, please post them in the chat. Okay. At the end, we will be taking all the questions, and probably then you can also unmute yourself and ask the question live. For now, let's continue with the presentation. So this is what you see in between, and here you can actually go ahead and edit the design name, okay, or the process documentation. So for us, let's see the next step. Just 1 second. So currently we are going to do a demo for the capture process. Okay. So in order to do the demo for the capture process, I will be creating a capture process, documentation here. And then what I will do, I will hit on capture process in order to get a proper window which will capture all of my actions. But before I do that, let me show you the process that I'm trying to automate. So since this work is done, I will close this window and rpachallenge.com. Most of us are well aware about what this application is, what this web application is, and what it does. But just to be brief about it, what you can do is you can actually go ahead, hit on start filling all the information that is available here, depending upon the Excel that you can download. And once you are done, it will give you a timing of how quickly you were able to fill it. Our task is to actually go ahead and do the same thing here. We are going to fill everything, and then we are going to hit on submit. That's it. That's all the capturing I want to do for now. So hit on start, and then start filling one form, and that's it. So let's see. Reload the website. Okay, so let's get started. I will hit on capture process, and you can see that it is creating a capturing environment for me. And as soon as it is done, you can see that I'm here having a start capture button available with me. Okay, I will hit on start capture, and step one is to hit on start. So I'll click on start, and as soon as I do that, you can see that the screenshot has been taken. And once we go to the documentation, you will be seeing like the button or the start button should have been highlighted. But now, typically what we do is typically what developers or what people or even business analysts do is they simply go ahead and start clicking on the next option. Like I want to click on company name, I want to click on first name, and so on and so forth. Whereas the right practice is, once you have performed an action, add a title and describe it. So I'll say click on start, and in description I'll add click start the data entry process. Okay, and this is very important because when you're creating a documentation, you need to explain what all steps you are performing. If you don't do these small things, ultimately the documentation that you will be providing to business or to the developer will be very confusing. Because even if you're having the best template that UiPath is providing you, if you watch this particular step, the steps, the all the document, all the actual as is diagram that you will be getting, that won't be very good. Okay, that will be like just a screenshot that you are getting without any description. So you need to provide proper title as well as proper action description. Keep that in mind. Once you do that, you can perform the next action, which is simply going ahead and typing the company name. Okay, so I'll say here type company name, and company details entered. Then I'll type my first name. So I'll say first name typed first, then address, role in company. Just keeping the time in mind, I'm skipping a couple of steps of adding the action title and action description. But there is another reason why I'm skipping it, because I want to show you how the documentation looks like when you actually skip it. Phone number, email, last name, and then I'll hit on submit. That's it. I have filled my form. But if you would have noticed, I clicked twice, once on the white screen and once on the submit. So we will see what was the consequence of that and how we can actually manage that step. Okay. But for now, I'll just hit on stop, and a process has been created for me. Okay. So you can see that I have within this flowchart, I only have, so I'll just close this particular thing, but this is a very beautiful thing that you are seeing in front of you. If the UiPath task capture detects any duplicate steps that you have performed, it will assume that probably you can reduce the number of steps. For example, if you have to type somewhere, it will know that you always clicks on that particular position and then you actually go ahead and type something. So it is actually trying to tell you the same thing, that you can actually combine two steps into one. But for now, we will not be doing this. Okay. So with that, our simple diagram has been created. You can see that here in the screenshot section, I am having all of my screenshots well defined. Okay. And you can see that wherever I was performing an action. So if I want to open this particular screenshot, you can see that the step one was to actually go ahead and click on start. So what I did, I clicked on start and then I provided the text and the description. Good. Step two was to go ahead and click on, company name and start typing company name. Well, step three is also the same. In step three, you actually typed the company name. Then what is the difference between step two and step three? This is a redundant step, because as a human, what we do is we tend to go ahead and firstly click somewhere and then perform an action, which is good because this is how a human should work. But when it comes to the bot, Bot performs a little bit differently. What you can do is you can actually type using the type into activity, as all of us are aware about. So we technically don't need two steps. So what you can do is you can actually delete one step using the delete option. Okay, let me just show it to you again. So I can actually go ahead and right click here and remove this particular thing, or I can use the delete key on my keyboard. Anything is possible. And once we are here, you can see that I only have one screenshot available with me, which says that I have typed company name, but the title and description is blank. So as a good practice, again, I will be adding type company name. Okay. Now, one thing that I can see here is that the red box that is highlighting where we have performed the action, well, it is actually at the wrong position. How can I resolve it? It is very easy. What I can do is I can actually simply go ahead. Let me do a control C. Yeah. Okay. So what I can do is I can simply go ahead and move this particular box to company name, and then I can resize it so that I'm highlighting the right component. This is the benefit, and this is the editor that I was talking about earlier, that you are actually having a proper editor or a proper image editor built within this particular tool. So you don't need to actually go ahead and export this image to some other tool, add all the changes, and then import it. Everything that you need is available within this tool itself. Okay, so now with that done, you can perform or repeat all the steps for all the changes that you want for all the different steps that I mentioned here. Once you are done, you can go back to the diagram, and what you can do is yeah, what you can do is you can actually go ahead and validate that everything is right or not. Once everything you feel like is good enough for you for the current process, what you can do is you can go ahead, hit on file, hit on your export, and here when you hit on export, you get three options: Word, UiPath Studio, and diagram as image. So you can export everything into a Word document. We will be talking about that, and I will be showing you how the Word document looks like. Or you can export everything as a UiPath Studio XAML project, which is a great thing because all the steps that I performed, I will be having all the activities corresponding to it as well. So which is very good. Okay. And then what you can also do is you can go ahead and export this particular thing as an image. So whatever flowchart you have created, you can actually export this entire diagram as an image, and maybe you can save it somewhere, or share it with your colleagues, share it with your manager, whatever you like. What I am planning to do right now, I'm planning to actually export it as a Word document because this is the most common format that we use. Okay. So with that done, what I will do is I will firstly add with the title. Title is capture process. Description. I'm automating your rpachallenge.com. And author is Ishmit. I'll hit on next. Now I get two templates. We have automation hub template and UiPath PDD template. You can choose any one of them. Both of them are really good, or even you can import your own template. Personally, I prefer UiPath PDD template, even though it's an older one. Just a personal preference, since I have been using it for a long time now. It is a bit more clear to me. So I use UiPath PDD, and then what I do is I hit on export. For just for the demo purpose, I will save it on my desktop, and once it is saved, let's wait for a minute. Okay, I will hit on open, and that's it. Just with the help of a couple of clicks, and just with the help of the process that a person could possibly be doing day in and day out, we are actually able to record each and every step, and we have a proper documentation and industry level documentation for the entire process that a couple of minutes ago I just introduced to you. Okay, so that is the power of this particular thing. With but with power comes some responsibility as well. So your job is not done as of now. Task capture is a great tool, but you have to perform a couple of extra steps in order for make this documentation complete. So as a step one, you need to define process area. You need to fill this process overview, table, entire table, because even though process execution time is filled by task capture, task capture does not know what is the peak period. When is the period when the input is the maximum? Okay, when you're getting the maximum number of inputs, or how many total number of FTEs are available. These kind of information cannot be captured by the task capture. Maybe with the help of automation in hub, you can integrate this information and then you will be getting it. But since this is a pure task capture demo, you have to fill this information. Then you have to also define what are the applications that are in use here. So we utilize only Chrome. So I'll write Chrome. Okay, I'll write it's a browser. And so you can write anything here. Okay, I'm just writing a browser because to me it's a browser. It's a thick client, and I can access it directly. So it's on local. And comments, no comments. I don't have any comments. Okay, and this is the first application that I have added. You can go ahead, expand it, do anything with it. Once this is done, obviously have the process map diagram that you just created. With that, you also have process statistics. This is very important because these are high level as is statistics, meaning that this much is the amount of time that was taken, or this much is the amount of clicks that happened when human is performing this particular task. You can take this particular thing as a benchmark for human, which by the way is very difficult to capture, because when a human is actually doing the work and when a human is actually telling you about the work, both speeds are different. But in using task capture, you can just ask someone to do their day-to-day job, and we can then have a proper time that how much time a human takes on average to perform the action. Okay, once this is done, then starts the as is diagram. In as is diagram, since we invested some amount of time, we are having proper comments as well as descriptions. So what is the what we are doing? We are clicking on start, description, and what is the action that we took. This action can be utilized by any RPA developer to know that okay, he performed a click. Click means a normal click, not a right click, a left click, single click. So that's one thing. Similarly, we clicked on a company name. We performed a couple of actions. So this is the good thing about it. When we are typing, its action is keyboard input. Okay. Now you must be noticing that for a couple of screenshots, we don't have any action or comments. And this is where you come into play. You actually need to go ahead and manually define comments for the description for this particular thing. So maybe here, I think if I zoom in a little bit, I can see that I'm typing role in the company, correct? So I can write type role in company. Okay, so through that, this step is completed. That's it. That's all we needed. And repeat it for all the steps that are available here. So once your as is steps are completed, okay, once you have actually submitted it, I'll just go down here. Then comes your to-be process. To-be process is something that you have to create manually, still create manually, because this is the process that you think that should happen in the when compared to the as is process. It can be similar, but obviously to-be process is something in which is an enhanced version of as is process. Now, coming to some very important points here, you have to define what are the parallel initiatives. So you might be having a particular application which is currently under development. Let's say you're using automation hub. Within automation hub, you defined that okay, we can automate this particular process, but you forgot to mention the parallel initiative in which the application was being, some other development was happening for the same application. The issue in this case is that since you never mentioned this, probably the company will spend some amount of time in analyzing, or maybe in some worst case scenario, they will go ahead and start the automation because they see the real impact on people. And if you haven't defined anything like that, in the worst case scenario, they will complete the development And after a couple of days or couple of weeks, the application will be revamped, due to which your entire, effort is going. You have to put in a lot more effort to actually bring that particular thing back. So you have to define this particular thing. Along with that, you also need to define what is inside the scope of RPA, because as a business person, you can define a end-to-end process, because you are defining as is process, right? But probably it's quite possible that you might not be perform you might not want RPA to do everything. So it's quite possible that instead of RPA fetching the input, probably a human will fetch the input and send it to you over the mail. So RPA's job is not to fetch the input from a given application, but to actually read the email. So the task has changed. That's why you need to define what all are the steps in the as-is diagram that you need to follow. Then out of the scope, obviously, what are the steps that you don't need to follow and why you are not following it. So probably, like coming back to the input part, probably you don't want RPA to gather the input because of some compliance issue. You can mention it here. Then you can also mention some business rule exceptions or any kind of exception that you know. For example, you might be knowing that the application goes down each Friday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. for maintenance purpose. You can mention it here so that if an exception comes at that time, we know what is going on. And any other kind of business rule exception you can mention. You can also mention some known exceptions like client sends data incorrectly. So due to that, if a particular field is wrong, throw an exception. So you can define what could be the exception, what are the parameters to replicate that exception, and what action should be taken when that exception comes in. And once you define all these things, you have a proper documentation ready with you. So this was a very small process that I have just defined. Typically, documentations like this is just a 20-page documentation. Typically, documentations start from 50 to 60 pages. Why? Because processes that we typically automate on average are very large. So you can think about that time when you have to actually go ahead and create flowcharts. You have to actually go ahead and add all the screenshots for 300 or 500 steps that you are trying to automate. All of them have been eased for you with the help of task capture, and specifically with the help of task capture's capture mode. Okay. With that, I would like to take a break and ask my friend to go ahead and talk about the second part of task capture, which is the build process. So over to you.
Akpeko, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud now.
Thank
So Dennis,
you.
probably you are going to share your screen now, right?
I'm going to do upcoming 20 minutes. No, when I finish, you have to come here. That's the issue.
Yes, sir. So let me just present my screen and then take us through the other means of creating the document. Please let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Yes, okay for me.
All right, thank you. So during Ismail's presentation, he demonstrated how to capture the process, but I will be showing us how to build a process from scratch. In doing so, we'll just go straight ahead and click on build diagram. And it creates an environment like this for me. The process that I have in mind to build is just to log into the popular Acme website and perform a data entry activity and then log out. Now, permit me to take you through some interesting features of the task capture. When I roll my mouse over this very first sequence, this is the features or the activities that we can perform. For a regular or any normal task or process diagram or two, we all have the line here or the arrow here showing where we're moving to, then the square, the rectangle, which shows that an action will be performed here, and then the diamond, which shows a decision point, then the oval showing the end or the beginning of a process. There is a new addition here for UiPath Task Capture, which actually captures the process itself. So I'll just name this one login to Acme website. Then I will check if the login is successful. And if the login is successful, I will go ahead. Sorry, I didn't need to click on that. So I'll just press escape and come back to what we're doing. Let me rename this. I will navigate to my page where I'll be doing the data entry. If it is not successful, I will actually not do anything here, but I will simply go back to this. It is quite flexible and sharp, if I may use that word. Okay, so it's successful. And here is retry login. And after I have logged in and navigated, I will then perform one other activity of data entry. Enter data. If the data entry is successful, I will check again if it is successful or not. Check success. That's right. If I am successful, then I will go ahead and just log success. Log success info. If I fail, I will still log my success info. Log failure info and send, oh no, we'll not send feedback here. Whether I succeed or I fail, I want to send a feedback. Send feedback to stakeholders. Whether I succeed or I fail, I will still send this. Okay, and after that, I will close my application. I'll close my application. Sorry, first I will log out. I will log out, and then I will close my application. Then I will end my process. This is a simple build. It's look at what I've been able to build under how many minutes using just task capture. Now, in case you wanted to, I will capture some of the stages because we are very pressed for time, and then I will leave the rest. Now let's look at this. Down here, it's saying 0 of 500. Now what it's trying to say is that with task capture, you can capture up to 500 actions per document. 500 actions, no more than 500 actions. Now let me try capturing a login activity. Start capture. Yeah, start capturing. So you realize that it is very much the same as what Ishmit has demonstrated at first. One thing that I built first before I am capturing, but Ishmit captured directly. You can still give your titles and stuff. So I begin my username. And I'll type my password. And I'll click on login. This is enough for now. So we just say I need login to Acme. This page logs to Acme website. I'm stopping my capturing now, and boom, all that we try doing are all here visible in the corner over here. You can open it and edit. Remember that this slide and this slide are very the same. This is also very the same. If they are that the same, you can just take away as the ones that are that same. But what I love about this is that I get to focus on what I want to click. So for this one, let's see, I get to see that this developer, when you are developing, focus on the email, typing on the email. On the second part, it looks very the same. So I will just skip because the delete and it's gone. For this one, please keep an eye on typing of the password. On this slide, keep an eye on typing of, like clicking of the login. Okay, let's quickly go back. Before I save, there are some other interesting features that I would like to show you in a minute. In a minute, the ability to color, the ability to color, interfering, ability to color and differentiate between my jobs. Let me just save this one for now. File, save as. This is the original .ssp, is the original format for task capture. So, okay. Capture. And the exporting is coming in now, the Word, the XAML, the image. Let's still try the Word document. Still, we have our ability to put in a few things. Acme, site capture. This captures Acme website. The other is yours truly. Then we go to the previous views, whether the PDD or the Automation Hub. We're still using Automation Hub in the way. Then we can export Acme website, blah, blah, blah. I'll put it on my desktop so I can easily locate it. And here we are. The document is still generated for us. Very well. The names, just as how Ishmael's own came, it's still generated for us. And your diagram has come here nice and easy. I don't know how many developers will see a diagram like this and not smile, because the process is so clearly outlined there. And the number of clicks, and I mean, these statistics are all here for business decision making. The keys used are all captured accordingly. The screens captured very well, very detailed. One thing that I couldn't demonstrate at the other side was that you can actually do OCR activities on the screen directly. And it goes on and on and on. If you can delete some screens, if you think they are me, you can add other ones if you think you need to add more. So because we are pressed for time, we will not, I wouldn't go too much deep into this, but you can take up your time and explore the tools more. I believe it's that powerful that can help the RPA development ecosystem. Yeah, so that is it from me, Ishmael. May I hand over to you now, please.
Thank you so much. Dennis, do you think that we can go ahead with the second quiz now?
Yes, we can go ahead with the second quiz, of course.
Oh,
That's
cool.
Cool. So this quiz is consists of about 4 or 5 questions with about 20 seconds per question. And so you can please take your time and then be happy. This is the code. I don't know, I think it has changed. So you can please.
Okay, so I will write the new code in the chat.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
so guys, so go to menti.com and paste in the last code in the chat, 32804830. You can also access from mobile easily the Menti room. Just go to www.menti.com and paste in this code 32804830.
I can see people are still joining. You can give them 1 more minute. Then we move on. Okay, no one is joining now. I see the ninjas. There goes.
No one else wants to join? We have only 12 in the Zoom, in the quiz room. No one else is willing to take the quiz. This time we have a UiPath prize.
Okay, is it possible to customize a word template for PDD in task capture? Oh, that was so sharp. Okay.
Do you have a next question in the same quiz, Akpeko, or is it a separate quiz?
They're supposed to be in the same.
Yes, then just click on the screen and the right arrow on keyboard for next question. Right arrow on keyboard.
I think we only have one question here.
Maybe it's in a separate quiz, the next question. No, it's 10 slides. It's in that quiz. So task capture quiz.
It was showing 5, I guess, questions.
Yeah, you can go directly. So when you play, or just present and go to the slide with the next question directly. You will see it on the left side. Okay, now click right arrow on the keyboard to go to the next question. Okay. This is the leaderboard. So now we see how many points the first contestants got on the first question. So we see Aniket is leading the leaderboard after the first question. Congrats, Aniket. And now we're moving to the second question. So answer fast, guys, to get more points. So the following different types of exporting options available in task capture, except this is pretty split. Okay,
Yeah.
so the information was not that clear in the presentation, perhaps. So we have our leader has changed. Kenya is leading. Very tight with Farida coming up.
Yeah, pick one.
Interesting.
We cannot. Interesting. We cannot export to Excel. We can export to PDD. We can export to Word and then image and XAML, but not Excel. We are going on now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go to the next question. Branding settings allow you to set the styles in the action editor. True or false? Okay, the moment of truth. Yeah. Good.
I love this. I love
Great
this.
answer. Yeah. True or false, it's always easiest.
We couldn't really demonstrate this, but I love the answer that almost everybody got it correct.
We have another switch in leaders. No, Kenya is still leading. though Farida was the fastest, but Kenya is still leading in points, means it has answered correctly. She has answered correctly and also fast. Or he has answered correctly.
This is the last one. Take a good stretch. Take a good
Okay,
stretch.
so this will determine our final leader and the winner of today's UiPath prize, our swag voucher for UiPath store. So be careful, guys. Watch closely the question and think well before you answer, but answer fast. You can kick the question.
Okay.
So what is the maximum number of actions per document recommended to keep the process maps informative and easy to use? The recommended number of actions, the maximum number of actions. I remember when Akpeko presented this right before capturing the login. It was very easy.
Oh.
Great answer. Let's see who is the leader. Okay, so Kenya is our winner for today. Don't know whether it's a he or a she, but Kenya, you can write a DM us in a chat your email address, please, so we can get you the voucher. Yes, just DM me or DM Akpeko, one of us, to get a voucher, please. And congratulations for watching closely the presentation today and getting the right answers. Everyone knows the right answers, so that's a win-win for all.
Thank you all very much. So also, so we come to the end of the presentation and the session.
I think we can move to Q&A. Perhaps they have questions to you and Ishmeet.
Okay.
So everybody feel free to unmute yourself now and ask questions either to Ishmeet or Akpeko, please.
Do we have the record section of this?
Yes, please. The recorded session will be made available by close of business tomorrow. We will actually share the links with you. If you're not part of UiPath Task, you can get in touch and you get it, but it will be available even on YouTube.
For last session, I was not able to attend error handling, but I can see the mail that for watching the video, you can click here. But when I'm clicking the recording session, it is not able to see anything.
Ishmael, did you quite catch that?
Yes, so maybe that must be some technical issue. I don't think that we will be facing that issue now.
I have a question. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I have a question concerning the exporting the process from task capture to Studio UiPath. So is it possible to switch from classic experience to modern experience design when you are making an export? Because I tried it, but the export in Studio was in the classic experience, and I want to make a switch. I don't know if it's possible from task capture.
If you want to use a modern experience in in UiPath Studio, just go to settings, enable the modern activities, and you have to create a new project. Okay, but if you want like a task capture to actually export all the activities in modern format, then you should be having this option enabled. Okay, if you have this option disabled, then it will always export it in classic format. Okay.
Okay. But normally this option is enabled in my studio because I always work in modern design. But when I'm trying to export, it's always in classic design. So.
Okay, which maybe you can we can connect separately because it also depends upon the version that you're using of Studio as well as the task capture. Okay, so maybe we can connect and we can look at your issue.
Okay.
Hi everyone, this is Nainika. Thank you so much for today's class. I have a question regarding this task capture.ssp file. Who will create this? May I know who will create this .ssp file? Either a developer or a BA will develop this one.
Anyone. If you remember in the beginning, we were talking about how task capture is actually role agnostic. So you don't have to be a business analyst, RPA developer, or even a COE leader. Everyone, there is a use case for everyone that who needs to capture a particular process that they're aware about, and they can easily utilize task capture for their own needs.
Okay, thank you. I think I have one more question. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Please.
Yeah. So can we develop a code using those XAML file which was created by using task capture? Using task capture, it has three options, right? You can either develop a doc file or a XAML file or a picture file, right? If we chose XAML file from that task capture, can we go ahead and then develop a code from that XAML file by opening that?
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
completely possible. Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't get you. I'm sorry.
Please, Janice.
It is possible to do that.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah,
So that,
absolutely. So you must have used recording earlier in studio, right?
yes, yes.
So you can think of this particular thing like recorder only, but it's at next level because it also gives you the documentation.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for clarifying all the doubts. Thank you so much. This was a wonderful session.
Any more questions for us, please? I think we've quite overstepped our time today.
Yeah, hi, hello.
Hello, Mahesh.
Yeah, hi. So my question is like in my organization, we don't follow any task capture. Like basically we involved in a call and they explain the process and we start developing. So how this task capture would be useful? I mean, like, is it available in my organization or is it free or a license we have to take for this?
You do have a community version and you do have a licensed version. If you have Automation Hub, task capture comes along with it. But as per like, if you want to use it within your organization, from personal experience, I have utilized it in my last organization. Okay. And it was quite appreciated because it actually smooths the development process and the requirement gathering process. But this is something that you have to check within your organization because there are a lot of compliance things that you have to check before you onboard anything. Okay. So my suggestion will be don't use anything right away. Get your permission first.
Okay.
And then do it.
And you have a free trial license for the organization, so you can if you do have compliance, then you can start with a free trial license, and if the organization appreciates the product, you can move into licensing.
With the trial version, I believe I cannot install on my office laptop, right? How do I install that?
You need the compliance for the organization, what Ishmik told you. So you need first to green light it by the organization. Okay. Because you might have some privacy safety settings on your organization laptop. So first you need to clear it with them, install, and then deploy.
Okay. Thank you.
Pleasure. Are there any more questions? Because if
yes,
not, I will.
I have one question.
Okay, Madhu. Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hello.
It is relevant to the Nainika asked, no? It is relevant to that question. So when we create a process through capture process, when we open in UiPath Studio, how effectively it will work? Is that similar to the UiPath Studio, or is it in a different from that?
Okay, so it is pretty similar to UiPath Studio. It is using the same activities which are available. Let's consider Classic right now. It is using same activities which are available in the Classic, design. But what you need to consider is that you cannot expect a particular recorder to be using all the best practices, because it is just having something that you just, you just click somewhere and it just recorded that particular steps, and on the basis of that it performed a couple of actions, as Dennis is also showing you on screen. But for the best practice implementation and for the best activity usage, you need to make some modifications, not all. You don't have to revamp the entire design.
Like difficult things we cannot do through this. That's what thing.
No, for example, if you want to define a, you want to get passwords from Action Center, or sorry, not from Action Center, but from assets, right? So that is something that you have to define. But any kind of difficult things, for example, you want to copy paste something, you want to create a pivot table within Excel or something like that. So you need to understand that this is mimicking human actions. Whereas in UiPath, many human actions have been translated into background actions. That's why it is so, it is a better option, because you don't have to open a Excel and do Control A, Control C. You have read range, correct?
Sure. Yes.
So that's you have to think from the developer point of view, like how I can remove the human steps and bake in the background automation steps.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
No problem.
This is Nainika again. Just wanted to know in which year did this released?
It started with process mining, I think, around 2019.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. In 2019, I remember using it. So yes.
Okay. Okay.
So
Thanks.
it's part of the process mining suite, and it's 2019, and it continued to 2020, 2021 with task mining.
19. Okay. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Hello, team. I think our time is very much spent, but looking at the interest that has been generated, I suggest that we reconvene in 1 month's time and actually take on process mining and also explore and get feedbacks on this.
Yeah. One more thing before you go, and I told you, keep the event link. I will give you the event link again now, so you can keep it to see the recording tomorrow. And I also added the follow-up links in the event link. So you have, let me share screen here. You can go to the event, and here you have all these links to follow up and study, task capture, start learning. Yes, you have the definition and the description of the product and the free trial in the UiPath product suite here. I also gave you the Academy link for task capture. And you have also the UiPath forum thread labeled task capture. So there's everything you need here in order to follow up on task capture and start learning and operating with it. Hope you all enjoyed today's meetup. Hope you got what you wanted from it. We are very happy to have had you with us. Thank you, Arpeko, and thank you, Ishmeet, for presenting this. And yes, let's follow up with process mining soon.
Yes, please. Thank you so much for giving it the support to make this happen. We hope that in the next 1 month, we'll have the process mining activity event also being organized. And we'll invite all of you, we'll send the invitations, so do join. Have a wonderful time.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining.
Thank you, Ishmeet. Bye.
Thank you, Christian.
Bye.
Bye-bye.